heck of a baseball game. Two really good clubs. When you face a guy like Savage, and that's a Friday night guy in the ACC. That's a Friday night guy for a great team like East Carolina. It's a Friday night guy in the SEC. Friday night guy anywhere. High draft pick, you got to match him. And to have a freshman go out there and make big pitches, to two freshmen make a big play at the plate with Luke making that tag. And, Folger threw 30 pitches. That's why we had to make that move. Dalton gave up the hit, then got the next guy out. Thought Matthijs was outstanding. Obviously, he's from Greenville. We didn't pitch him last year in that series, and we told him he would be pitching in this series, not just because he's one of our best guys. Well, obviously that's one reason, but and it didn't surprise me how well he pitched. And we have the two-headed monster, so we have options early. We can go to Pence or post him. We're comfortable with both of them closing. And then obviously I got to give a shout out to Vance. That's why he's so good. He can do that at any time. When you face a guy like this, you don't get caught up in the strikeouts. They're going to happen. You just have to battle. And honestly, I can also point out Kobe Wilkerson. That ball barely, Barini snagged that ball. We're up 3-0 right off the bat, and then he hit another one on the nose. But a lot of respect for that team. They played hard. We played hard. Unbelievable atmosphere. Great game for the state of North Carolina for sure.
Felt like a big moment was maybe in the second inning, Folger came back, being down in the count, got no out.
Yes.
Out. And that kind of gave him some confidence in your team there.
Yeah, you guys have followed ECU as well. Cliff does a great job. They're not going to beat themselves, and you have to beat them. And walks will hurt you, and that's a great point. And I thought Folger was in great control the whole time. And that's a big environment. Last week it was his opener, but that's East Carolina and sold out. And I thought he pitched great. He really didn't have his stuff from the standpoint his slider wasn't moving. Left and right, it was moving more down. So we didn't think he was going to strike a lot of guys out. He was just going to have to pitch, which he did.
What have you seen? I know small sample size, but from Vance's power stroke that didn't really seem to have consistently last season.
I think last year the focus was, trying to cut back on his strikeouts. And he doesn't need to do that. He struck out 90 times his freshman year, still almost hit 325 home runs, and I don't know how many RBIs, and still an unbelievable on-base percentage. And that's why we've been leading him off, too. He hadn't got a ton of hits yet, but he's been on base. He's leading our teams in runs scored. So if he gets on base, he's going to score. And you want your best guys, and he's arguably our best player up there as much as possible, and that's why, because he came up in a big situation and put a big swing on the bat.
So you're willing to take that trade-off, strikeouts for more home runs?
Yeah, that one right there, of course. Strikeout, I might have had a different answer for you, but when you have that type of, the strikeouts for me were a credit to Savage. He was that good. He's going to be probably a first-round pick. And when a guy like that's on, the only way you have a chance to win in my history here is you got to have a pitcher on your own team, and you got to make plays defensively, return double plays, and you got to match it. You're not going to win that game 8-7.
Going off that a little bit, with Vance specifically, even on a couple of those strikeouts, it seemed as if he spit on some really good pitches still. How that maybe kind of encourage you, and how are you seeing it going into that last at bat?
Yeah, when you're facing a guy like Savage, you tell your hitters, you can't be afraid to go down looking. Sometimes you got to pick a pitch late in the count. If he's got both of them or all three of them working, and they were borderline. What we were trying not to do with him is chase out of the zone a ton. And for the most part, we did a good job with that. He just, late in the count, threw some fastballs by us, made some great pitches, and there was a stretch there where I was like, man, we got to do something, maybe hit and run. And Derek did get a base hit, so that helped a little bit. But I thought early on the play of the game was Kobe lining out, because that game's 3-0 in a blink, and it could have changed a little bit. But credit to him.
Coach, this felt like a May game in February.
Awesome.
How important is getting the guys in pressure situations early against really talented teams?
Yeah, I just told them that's why we do this. It's a Friday night game in the ACC. It's a Friday night game in a regional. That's a Friday night game in a super regional. It's your first game in Omaha. Obviously, there are way more fans, but that's what it feels like, and that's what it felt like tonight, and that's why Cliff and I do it. Again, born and bred North Carolina guys. We want to play good teams early because we're going to have to play teams and beat teams just like East Carolina, as we move along.
Did Vance have the outfield assist that stopped the second run?
Yeah, that's a tandem relay play. We practice that every day, and we talk about, you talk to your players all the time. You got to be fundamentally sound and play defense. And we work on tandems. You hit a ball in the gap just like that, pick up the ball, and you try to get the ball to Colby whenever you can, because he's got that bazooka. And Vance hit him right in the chest, and that's something that doesn't go in the box score. But if he doesn't hit him here, he hits him here.
Yeah.
He might throw the ball off balance, and that was a huge play for us. And that was a clean defensive play.
Do you see Vance's mindset change at all throughout the game? Because we've seen this type of game where he has a couple strikeouts to start and then, hits a home run late in the game.
Nope, I don't. It's the 5th game, and Vance, because of who he is, people are going to nitpick every single thing about him. But so early, I mean, it's like Vanderbrake. Like, it's 5 games. Like, Vanderbrake will lead our team in hitting when it's all said and done. I'm just looking at more, are you having good at bats? And Vance is great at bats, and he leads our team in runs scored.
You ever seen anything quite like that first run where the left fielder loses 2 balls, one by about 50 feet? I mean, was it just a high sky?
Last year, that was one of the first times I saw it, and we almost got a win out of it. And Casey almost lost one as well. But I have seen that before, especially when you've had a little bit of rain, and I guess that's what it's called, the high sky. I didn't play outfield, I called, so I didn't lose too many.
Talk about the middle infield there with Kobe and Madera. I mean, 2 big double plays.
Yeah, and we felt like they would be in the game late no matter what. And honestly, we thought Madera would probably start the season as our starting shortstop. Kobe had a great preseason, and then Madera, was nicked up a little bit, and then we got great news that he wasn't going to have to miss much. So we just kept Kobe because he started so hot, and then threw Madera in there and said, hey, that's as good a middle infield as you can find. We call them, they might be the smallest, but they're the most lethal. That's what we say all the time.
Luke had 2 really, really big tags in that one inning. It's only his 2nd week in college baseball. We can just say about him kind of embracing the situation, embracing a challenge, but not letting anyone down.
I mean, we're lucky to have him. I mean, he could have signed professionally. He could have been a high pick already. He's going to be a high pick. We're just scratching the surface with that kid. He's going to be really special. He shuts down the running game for the most part. It didn't surprise me. It's just kind of who he is, and he's advanced, and that's why he's back there as a freshman. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Go eat me some hibachi. See y'all.
Save
Good to see you. Man, if you were, can I stay here watching?
Be quick. So like to beat the hometown team.
It was a lot of fun. Obviously, I grew up watching them, so it was great to go out there and compete and beat them tonight, Friday night.
Did you root for them growing up? I'm sure you went to a million games.
I went to a million games, so I used to live in the same neighborhood that the stadium's in, so we walked to games, and so been to a lot.
And did you root for them?
I did. Yep.
Coach said you didn't play in the last series, and then told you last year, and then told you before this series that you were definitely playing. How did that feel?
It felt great. Get to compete against a hometown team, so just went out and compete, so it was a lot of fun.
What about the atmosphere? I mean, getting to pitch in front of you. There's a lot of East Carolina fans here too, but it was a little bit rowdy there late. Let's talk about that aspect of it.
I mean, you just kind of eliminate it on the mound. You can't really hear it, so it's just doing my thing.
They were kind of giving you the business too, because they knew who you were, those ECU fans. I mean, because you grew up there. I mean, did you hear any of that stuff?
Nope. I just pitched and just eliminated it. So.
What was going well for you on the mound?
Thought fastball, good command, cutter, everything. Everything was working tonight, so helped a lot.
What have you seen from Folger to 2 collegiate starts and 2 pretty gutsy performances?
He's great. He's going to be really good. He already is really good, so he's going to continue to get better. So.
Do you have a specific mindset or mantra when you go into those high-pressure situations? Because Coach seems to really like putting you in those one-run games.
Yeah, it started last year. My first outing was bases loaded, 1 out, so just kind of got used to it. It's pressure is put on yourself, so if you don't think it's pressure, then just do your thing.
It's the bottom of the 8th. Vance is 0 for 3 on the night, a couple strikeouts. He's at the plate. What are you thinking?
I have full belief in him. He's a great player. He's one of our best players, so he's going to get the job done.
Your freshman fall, you were kind of sitting there around 93, 94. Over the course of the last spring, a little bit closer to 90, and now and today touching 94 again today. Just how do you feel like just the velo's kind of come along? How you've been able to maintain that? so far?
Last fall, I was a little wild. Just kind of brought it back a little bit, get in the zone some more. This year I'm feeling great, arm's feeling good, so just letting it eat.
I know your arm got banged up a little bit this summer. How has that recovery been coming back and then having a game like this?
This fall I was a little behind, so I had to miss a few scrimmages, but I got called back up. So I'm back now, so we're good.
You're looking forward to going down that way, Fayetteville tomorrow, Greenville, neighborhood game on Sunday?
Can't wait, can't wait.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Secret secret.
Noticed you were eating a sandwich over there. What's the post game meal?
I always just PB&J until we get back.
Vance, your home run, you start clapping halfway down the first base line. Just how gratifying was it, right off the bat, for that's gone?
Yeah, it was a close ball game, 1-1, and to have done that, just kind of, just a little bit of weight taken off, going into the bottom of the ninth, and then, or bottom of the eighth, and then obviously going back out on top of the ninth, having that 1-run lead is big. So I think it was excitement, and I was just pumped up.
You struggled all game, and then all of a sudden you hit that home run. I guess that shows what kind of mindset you have as a player.
Yeah, baseball's hard. Savage had it going today. Credit to him. So, I think just stick with it, stick with the approach. Every at bat's independent.
What was the pitch, and when you hit it, what's the feeling like?
It was a curveball, and it was 1-2, and really didn't feel like anything. So it's kind of how you got it.
Is that kind of what you live for? Like the scouts are here to see him. He's a big prospect. So are you. And it's kind of like a duel all game. Well, actually, it wasn't off him in the eighth, was it? But what was it like going up against a guy like that who's the top tier prospect earlier on the game?
Yeah, it's why you play. Just to be in these moments, to be in these games. Credit to him. He's a great guy, great pitcher. So it's just fun always to be able to go out there and compete.
It's a small sample size, but you found the power stroke that you couldn't get consistently last season. What's been the difference?
Just continuing to work. I think just in the off season, just continuing to kind of put in that work. Just really refine the moves to the ball, and be short and be quick, and just and then at the end of the day, just go out there and just play.
Coach Forbes said one of the things was you were trying to cut down on your strikeouts last season, and that may have been something to do with it. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think at some points last year I was better with 2 strikes, but I wasn't as good early in the counts. So just trying to find that balance of being aggressive early, and also then utilizing 2-strike approach late in the count.
Can you talk me through the execution on the 1 run comes in for them, but you guys are able to stop the second one through the relay from you to short to home, and just something little, but it's big, right?
Yeah, that was a big play in the game. Colby threw a strike to home. I think it was ball hitting the right center field gap. D'Onofrio and I were closing in on it. Got it before the wall, which was big. And then we practice that stuff every single day. So just kind of putting to use what we practice.
On those plays, how important and how helpful is it to have Luke as a backstop that can make those plays only 2 weeks into his collegiate career?
Yeah, it's big. He's a great player. I think just kind of is a credit to his talent. So I think just continuing for him to work, and he's gonna keep making those plays.
Does your mindset ever waver regardless of what happened in previous at-bats in a game?
No, it shouldn't. Sometimes baseball's tough. Baseball's tough on you, but no, definitely.
And kind of going off that a little bit, it felt like as those first 3 at-bats, even though you're over 3, you spit on some really good pitches. Like, was that kind of something you're kind of taking away into the dugout, like kind of adding to that confidence leading up to that 8th at-bat?
Yeah, I thought I was aggressive early. Just missing some pitches. But yeah, like you said, just trying to get my pitch, just trying to attack my zones. So just going to that 4th at bat, just confident 1-run ball game, just kind of what you live for.
Do you feel like that's kind of evolution from last year, where kind of maybe taking some of these smaller little positives and those instead of a complete picture of that bat and how the result is, I guess?
Yeah, I think pitch by pitch, just try to see if you can win that one. Instead of just overlooking the entire at bat, just really focusing on which pitches you swung at, the pitches you're getting, the pitches you're taking, and all that stuff.
Defensively, what did you see from the bullpen tonight?
They look good. They impressed me against Elon, impressed me last weekend, and hopefully they can keep it going. It's a lot of returners, and then there's also a couple of new guys that'll be in there, but they've been good. I feel like they've attacked, so I think just continuing to get them in there will be big.
What does getting game 1 in a 3-game series versus a team like ECU do for you guys to set the tone for this weekend?
Yeah, you want to win Friday. Their best guy's going, our best guy's going, and you feel like if you can beat their best guy, you can beat the rest. So just going in to the next 2 games up 1-0 is big.
More of a fun question, but we're doing a story on team walk-up songs. Can you take me through what your selection this year and why you decided to switch it up?
Yeah, after the year last year, I went to hang out with my ex-roommate who lives in Florida, and a couple of his buddies were just talking about good walk-up songs I heard, and that was one of them.
You and D'Onofrio there in the outfield, you played a lot with Cook last year, but just sort of talk about how you guys work together on that last play. You know, you take it instead of him and all that. Just walk us through sort of the symbiosis you guys got out there.
Yeah, just communication. You know, he's really fast too and has a cannon. So, you know, I just feel like if it's me or him getting to that ball from the right field line over to the left field line, someone's going to make a play. But having that speed is definitely big. So I think just communicate early, and then he's only been here for 5 games, but he looked natural out there, so it's been a big pickup.
You guys always play ECU close. How important is it to have high pressure games against really good opponents in February?
It's huge. I feel like against Wagner we just played all right, and we didn't play our best baseball, but we still won. So some bad habits can be taken from that. But in these situations, you don't need, in those 1-run ball games, you really can afford those mistakes. So it just really refines us. It helps us out as we're getting later in the season.
Okay.
Thanks, Vance.
Thank you.
Thank you.